Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Sunandini and I'm the host for this evening. Today we are going to discuss about International MBA from two different perspectives. On one side, we will understand the top league SDA Bocconi Asia Center makers who are imparting knowledge, giving us exposure and guidance to students to follow their business and management dreams. And on the other hand, we have a student, Alum, from the same school who can help us understand her side of the story. So why are we doing this exactly? Well, we as aspirants of business and management can have a better awareness and can get a real life experience from the people who have been there and from the people who are making it. So on that note, let me introduce you with our speakers. Both of them are traveling right now, so bear with us with the background and if there is some noise. But yeah, that is how it is. So we have with us Mr. Alessandro Giuliani. Please forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. He'll correct me later. Who is the founder and MD of the 10-year-old SDA Bocconi Asia Center. He has lived in 5 different countries, namely Italy, France, Spain, China, and India, and also can fluently write and speak in all these 5 languages. We are going to test that. Maybe Hindi will make you speak a bit, bit of it. Through living in different countries, he has acquired an instinctive gift of leveraging people's assets and growing diverse complementary teams. SDA Bocconi Asia Center is a pan-Asia center of SDA Bocconi located in Mumbai that has been using executive education and postgraduate programs designed and operated by the SDA Bocconi School of Management, Italy since 2012. It is really great having you here, Alessandro.
Thank you. It was almost correct, my name. And I never said I can speak Hindi. So don't test me, please.
Okay, got it. So on that note, from the different student side, we have Ms. Shruti Sharma from the class of 2017 and 19. She's currently an associate product manager at Novo Nordisk in Bangalore. Novo Nordisk is a leading global healthcare company founded in 1923 and headquartered in Denmark. Shruti is an IO business graduate at Novo Nordisk. This is something most of us are not familiar with, which we'll understand later. And other than that, of course, she's an alum of SDA Bocconi Asia Center. So she'll tell us all about her experiences here. So happy to have you, Shruti. So I hope you're happy to.
Perfect. Thanks for inviting us in.
Thank you. So our objective is very clear: to understand what Bocconi aims to do and how we can benefit from their education system. And I'm sure both our guests will help us do that by the end of this webinar. I know many of you might have questions regarding what it is and many in-depth questions as per like what is International MBA exactly. So just put your questions up on the live chat and we'll take those up in sequence at the end of this webinar. And before that, I'm going to ask my questions to both the guests. And first of all, I think I am going to start from one side, that is the founder and MD, Mr. Alessandro's side, to understand why he feels an International MBA has a great value addition in a country like India. So Alessandro, can you please help us understand what is an international MBA and how it is different from an Indian MBA from these schools like IIMs?
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking these questions and allow me to be some occasions, but I consider, and everybody considers me more Indian than Italian. Okay, so allow me some considerations. Without really comparing, I will tell you the strengths of our International MBA, which is an international in India. So that's the added value I would say that we have. So it is based on the curriculum and taught by the same faculty of our Masters of Management in Milan. Which is number 6 in the world in the FT rankings. So a very strong curriculum and strongest faculty. We are number 4 in the world for custom program for corporates. So really strong faculty that comes to India. 85% of the faculty is a faculty that comes from the main campus. And why international? Not only because our name is SDA Bocconi, but also because this faculty that we have chosen this faculty that we have chosen not only are the best, but they are from 12 different countries. So even there, the international side is very important. Why is it important? Because we well know, you know how diverse Indians are within India. So imagine if we go on a global scale. So you really learn to understand different perspectives, to find different ways of putting yourself in front of problems or opportunities, which means that it really widens up your mind and your spectrum of action in opportunities and difficulties and in the way you face the things. Not only that, but international, so global exposure is one of the three main pillars that we focus on when we elaborated that curriculum from the Master of Management. So we also join our programs. We have the double degree from Bocconi Milan and ESSEC Paris. Those students join our students in Mumbai. So already in Mumbai, for the stint in Mumbai, is extremely international. On top of that, I can tell you many other things like, for example, this week we are hosting here the Global MBA of SDA Bocconi Milan and of Rotman, Canada. So we have 50 students from, I think, 20 different countries. And next week we have the Executive MBA from Copenhagen, Business School from Denmark. So it's really an international environment with all the adds that this brings. Then for sure, there is the stint in Milan, which is compulsory for everybody. And it's an amazing immersive experience in 15,000 students that study only business. They are from 100 different nationalities. And in each course, really, there are a lot of, I would say 70-80% is students from other nationalities when you do assignments in Milan, apart from the traveling and all the things that our students do. So the international part is extremely important, and I think is a strong distinctive trait of our program. Okay, nobody can give this kind of international exposure, which brings in the second pillar, which is soft skills. So our students really, this is one part. If I have to speak about soft skills, I go on for 15 minutes. So I will avoid for the time being the activities that we do for that. But this international edge trait of our program really boosts the way students' empathy, students' communication skills, where I don't mean only way of talking, but way of, first of all, to communicate what are your thoughts, but also to understand what are other people's thoughts. Okay, the way of thinking out of the box, of adapting to different environments. So these are all things that are extremely important for a manager in general. But nowadays, you know, teams, and Shruti can well tell you from her experience how teams nowadays are extremely international, and so you have to be strong in team management of different cultures, different perspectives. So I think this is quite unique and gives a base thanks to which most of our students are the best in their cohorts in the corporates when they join. Shruti is one of those. Okay, yeah, I would say that for the time being. I can go on for half an hour, but I will avoid that right now.
Got it. So I just want to understand what is the eligibility criteria and how does one apply to this B school?
Well, eligibility is quite straightforward. We don't really have cutoffs. I can tell you more or less what it is, but we don't have cutoff because we were the first, and we really we are in a profile-based school. So while we, for sure, grades are important, and we look careful at 10, 12 graduation and at the entrance test, which can be CAT, GMAT, NMAT, GRE, or the Bocconi test. But then we look a lot also at the extracurricular activities. And so there's no cutoff. there, but for us it's very important for admission, and even more the personal interview. We interview personally, one-on-one, all the students that we admit, because again, I go back to soft skills. These students, for us, soft skills are very important. It's not only international exposure. I can elaborate in another session, but soft skills, for example, give that adaptability, ability to talk to different people, understand different situations. So all these things, you can really catch them only through a personal interview. So these are the requirements. So we don't have cutoffs. I can give you, if you want, if it's required, some ideas of where we stand on those numbers, but I think we are at 325 GRE average. We are at 650 GMAT. We are at 90 something in CAT, and at 235, I think, in NMAT, more or less. Allow me if I'm not precise on that, but that's the average of not the average, but some numbers that give you some kind of certainty that you will reach the interview stage, provided there are extracurricular activities and the rest of the CVs in place.
Oh. So people can actually give CAT and apply for this only through CAT, right? They can apply for this.
Not only through CAT, we have
Okay.
CAT and NMAT, GMAT, GRE, and the Bocconi tests.
Right. So any one of these tests and the Bocconi test. So we have to give one of the tests. It is fine if we give one and then apply, right? We can apply with one test.
Any one of these, including Bocconi test. So it's not and.
Okay.
So Bocconi is one of the tests.
Okay, okay. Got it.
And it's very similar to GMAT.
Okay. So from your explanation before, it felt like almost like best of both worlds. So people go to abroad for that exposure and diversity, and you're giving that in India itself. So I want to understand this part. Is it what is the benefit if a person stays in India? They get a different kind of schooling and placements and different sort of people teaching, faculty teaching, whereas in abroad they have different faculties. So is it something like the average expense of the Indian students here is lesser than maybe if they study in some other country doing an international MBA there?
You're being very transactional as many Indians. Okay, I would go on other traits. So for sure, the expense of living in India is much lower, and that you experience then in the stint in Milan. But that's not, I think, something that changes your life. I think the reason why we came to India is because we believe India is the future. So yes, there are some countries that give you the visa if you study there, and you can have a job there. But believe me, it's not easy. First of all, it's not easy to have a good job, and the career progression that you can have in India, you can have it nowhere in the world. Okay. And the opportunities that you have in India is nowhere in the world. So that's why we are in India. That's why in our placement, though our students can, when they go to Milan, they can manage to have a placement abroad. Some do have it. Our focus is to place them in India. So doing it in India, a postgraduate program is also about building a network and understanding an environment. So while we do teach in a way that our students understand the global environment, but the strong network then and the strong understanding is on India. So our students will be with a fully global perspective and training, but also with a very good knowledge and network in India, which will allow them to get a very good job in India, a very fast progression, because believe me, I can give you the average, those averages and so on. We are at 13.74 average package. But if you look at the progression and the increase of the salary and the job in the career in the next 2-3 years, for our students, it's impressive. And that you can only have here. Then our students, as I was telling you, they are the first one to be sent abroad by MNCs and big Indian companies because they understand well the global environments. So the big advantage, unless you say, I want to go and then go and study in Sweden, you have a better opportunity. But I think we all believe that India is going is starting a period that will be unique in history. So a program like that, you get the same training and preparation that you would get in the top schools across the globe, but you have a strong grounding in India.
Got it. So I think we got a vague idea, or actually a good idea, a general idea about what is happening with International MBA. So now I would like to go on the other side of the coin and see what students who have passed out and are alums of this school itself are doing right now. So I'm going to go to Shruti. So Shruti, I hope you're ready for the questions. Yes. So you have to unmute yourself when you answer, but let's continue this. So just in general, can you tell us about your experience at SDA Bocconi during your MBA times?
Sure. It was a very good experience at SDA Bocconi, and the SDA Bocconi experience comprised of the global exposure as well as us getting the India exposure. So that was what was the highlight of the entire program. And it was, as Alessandro mentioned, it was not only world-class faculty, but I also had friends across borders, and that really added the spice in the entire MBA program. But also one of the most awaited take-backs from the program were the faculty, and the way they made us industry ready and as well as career ready was something that I would always remember with. So even now when I'm in the corporate life and when I compare, when I see others coming in and when I see our students performing really well, I can actually see the difference, and I can see that there was no stone left unturned in making us corporate ready.
Got it. So just like before getting into what happened at SDA, I want to understand, why did you choose, what was the mindset that you chose SDA Bocconi?
Yes, that's a very valid question. And I actually wanted to have an international exposure. That is why I chose SDA Bocconi. But at the same time, I wanted to be true to my roots, wanted to be in India and wanted to make an impact in the Indian space. And when I researched about different schools, I came across the school, and it was not only renowned in the international space, but it was also having the faculty, it was also having the curriculum that was required. Things like sustainability, things like corporate innovations, or unique subjects that one wouldn't find in an Indian B school. I found them there. And also, a person being of marketing, I wanted to see the marketing curriculum in general, and I really felt that they gave us the liberty to choose the modules that we wanted to. So after doing a complete research, I was convinced that this was the school for me.
Got it. So after you chose the school, I want to really understand. So let's imagine, I think you are a passer of 2017 to 2017. You are researching and you shortlisted this B school. And then after that, what was the process? Like, did you give your GRE or did you go through CAT or the Bocconi exam? And then how was the interview? Maybe can you just tell us some of the questions also that were asked?
Sure. So the entire process was really nice. Firstly, I went through the GMAT. My score was about 700, and then I applied through the GMAT score to the Bocconi, and then we had a personal round interview that we had. And during the personal interview, I really liked it because there was a faculty, and also there was Alessandro himself as well, and also there was a career counselor who was sitting over there. And the interview was very well structured. They asked about curricular and also extracurricular activities, and I fondly remember one question wherein I just come back from visiting Europe, and they asked me why you want to join Bocconi. So my answer was really apt, to the point where I said that I had a family trip and I really want to go back there one day. So that was the kind of the interview. They really put me at ease. The questions were well structured. They also asked me facts. They also asked me regarding the healthcare industry because that was my passion. And they also when they asked me about my extracurricular, of course, I had a bunch of them. And they that time they had rolled out this Women in Leadership Scholarship. So, and they asked why you are the one for it, where uh, my umpteen number of hobbies that I have, I explained to them, and they were very convinced with those. And post the interview, I generally had a good feeling about the school in general, because all of them were very supportive. So yes, that was the process.
Got it. So in Indian MBAs, we have like segregations or majors in finance, then operations, marketing, etc. So here, was there something different? Were there different classifications to specializations? Okay, I think Shruti's internet is not working that well. So maybe Alessandro can answer this one.
Yes, sure. So while we call ourselves a general MBA, and we like to have our students generally strong across the sector, across the functions. The first year is a sort of general MBA. So you touch all the different pillars. Then you have your internship. And then we have a few electives, actually a few electives before the internships and a few electives after the internship. And then in Milan, that's the time where you really can choose among a lot of electives. And that's the specialization period. And then a few more electives at the end. So we do have some 15, I think, different specialization, which would include 3 or 4 choices in Mumbai and 4 courses in the same vertical in Milan. And this specialization cover a bit everything. And normally they ask me also, but where are you strong at in Bocconi? And my reply is everywhere. Because, in SDA Bocconi, we have 14 masters, and I think 90% of them are in the top 10 in the world. So really, you can have a thorough specialization in any area that you want.
Got it. So as Shruti is back, I'm going to direct this question towards her. So Shruti, I actually saw that you started your MBA in 2017. You also got a diploma in international business in 2018. Was this the exchange semester for 4 months in SDA Bocconi itself? Okay, so like,
Yes,
can you explain us the experience, like what you faced and what things happened?
Sure. The experience was great, wherein we had 4 months semester abroad in Milan, and it was a host of different subjects and faculties that we had over there. So it was not only the international exposure, but also different clubs, different competitions that we had. And knowing me myself, I'm always into different things. I want to start, I want to lead things. So in Milan as well, we left no stone unturned, where we got into a Lira healthcare case competition, which is like was a direct collaboration with SDA Bocconi Milan, wherein we did a massive competition where we called students from across the world to participate here. And that was a very great experience for me. And apart from that, we had also diversity inclusion classes. We also had massive projects. And I remember still there was a fun project of mine wherein we had to shoot an ad along with our friends in the class. So I think that also was a very nice experience for me. But what I really like about about the Milan experience was every subject was very unique in nature. The ask was different, and they always ensured that there was some live projects so that you retain the concepts very well. So yes, that was the hindsight.
Got it. So, Shruti, can you just tell us about how did you what was the total expense within these 2 years that you during your MBA basically?
Sure. The total, so I also had a scholarship. So the total expense would to about say 20 lakhs per
Which is
se.
actually equivalent to what we pay in Indian MBA. That is really cool. Okay. Great. Okay, got it. So now that we understood a bit about the experience within SDA, Bocconi, I want to understand the placement opportunities, as we said, and you actually joined a company known as Novo Nordisk in 2019. right after your MBA, I think. So can you just tell us, how did you get the opportunity to join this company?
Sure. It's a very anecdotal answer because it's very close to my heart. So I was actually backpacking in Barcelona in one of the trips, and there was a sudden post on LinkedIn by one of the spokesperson in Novo Nordisk, wherein they introduced this graduate program with a link. So I just clicked on the link. There were only about 5 days left for the application, and I put my application on the very last day. And I didn't even expect a phone call back then, and I was neck deep into the placement season that we were starting in Bocconi. But to my surprise, there was a call, and they really liked the application. And the fun fact was that they knew about SDA Bocconi back then, so the interviews as well went very well.
Got it. And there was something known as IO graduate program, if I'm not wrong. So it showed that you had something like 3 parts, something. So I don't know exactly. Can you just explain us what it is about?
Sure. So the IO graduate program is a 2-year program with 3 rotations of 8 months each in 3 different geographies. So there's only about 1 or 2 hires in a country, whoever is handpicked for the program. So that's how it goes. It's a long interview process. It starts from about January, and you get an offer in, say, about March, with a physical or a virtual graduate recruitment center. So that is how it is.
Great. Sounds great. And what is your current role right now in the company? So did you, if I'm not wrong, you like marketing and you were into healthcare, right?
Yeah.
During that time. So what is your current role?
Current role, I'm a brand manager of a launch brand in the diabetes and the obesity space. So that is how it is. But I'm really liking it because since my passion is marketing, I got placed into the most happening brand, I would say, in the.
So just to get an idea, so you are an associate product manager. So along with your colleagues, do you have more people from SDA Bocconi or maybe Indian MBA B schools or some international B schools? Okay. Okay, her net is not working again, I guess. So Alessandro, please help us with some questions, maybe. Can you?
But if I can add, Shruti is the perfect example of what you can get from us, because apart from the teaching, apart from the experiences, is the kind of platform, international platform, very open, that we give to the students. And Shruti is the perfect example, because she has not stopped a single moment of the 2 years on doing activities, competition. She has won tons of competitions. She has done tons of activities in the clubs, for sure also Playcom that she headed. So it's the kind of platform that is very different from a normal school in India, that is international, but also if a student comes up to me and asks me to start a new club, if it makes sense, I say, go ahead. Happen over and over. That's why we have so many clubs so well. Also is the kind of responsibilities that we give to the students. So most of the activities are given to the students. Shruti has been managing the Placecom in a way that really our job has been reduced by 70%. The coordination with the students. So, and that is for each and every club. Nobody is allowed to take 2 positions, okay, only 1 position, so that most of the people have some kind of position in the clubs. That gives you a kind of jump in leadership and self-assurance and knowing how to handle things by the end of the 2 years, that your performance then is really different. And it shows how Shruti is performing also in her corporate life now.
Got it. So Alessandro, what is the batch size in your B school, particularly in the Asia Center?
Yeah, the last batch intake was 270.
270. Okay.
Yeah.
And so in international, so in B schools abroad, I've seen there are no placement committees. So they really struggle getting a placement. Nobody comes to their college and, hands over a company and be like, okay, we have a job offer for you. So people normally go out, approach through LinkedIn or something like that. And in India, it's exactly opposite. There are placements, people, college companies come in your college and they take up students. So what is the system in Bocconi?
Well, in SDA Bocconi Asia Center, the system is a sort of hybrid between the two. As I was telling you, we like to teach the students how to find a job, and that's the very first months. And then they take over. For sure, we hold if there is some kind of support, we help. But, that gives you a further advance. Most of the students, after 2 years, they shift jobs. Okay. By doing that, you learn how to sell yourself, how to find the right jobs, not only a job, not only a salary, but the right job for you. That's what we teach our students. That's why also generally the average stay in the first job for our students is much longer than other schools. So have I replied to I can't remember the questions now. Have I replied it?
Yes, you have. I was asking about the placement, like how it works. You told it's a hybrid model.
Yeah. So for sure, our placement team is the largest part of the staff, and we do place a good part of the batch, but it's also that they learn, and a good part of them, and we are a team with the students. Okay, so we work together. If we talk about Milan, yes, it's like you were saying, there's no placement done by the university, but yes, we have a placement day where we have 200 companies coming on campus and mixing with the students and showing the opportunities. And also to this kind of activities, our students have access, because when they go to Milan, it's the same period when there are placements in Milan.
Got it. So Shruti, are you back? Can we have some questions for you?
Okay. Yes, I'm back.
Okay, so you're back at home, so that's a stable connection we will get.
Not home, but yes.
Yes, let's say hotel. So, Shruti, I was asking you about your current role. So, can you just explain us what you're doing right now?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so I was asking, what is your current role at Novo Nordisk?
Yes. Yeah. So, first of all, apologies for the connection issues. But yes, my current role is into brand management and marketing. So currently, I'm a part of this launch brand that I'm very proud of in the diabetes and the obesity space. So that is that's my role. It involves everything of marketing end-to-end 360 degrees, that is multi-channel, patient activation, and across the healthcare levers and the strategy. So,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Got it. So, Shruti, I just wanted to go back actually to SDA Bocconi experience. So here you have a very unique thing, healthcare and marketing. So I haven't actually spoken to many people who are into both of these things together, industry, healthcare, and marketing. So if we go back to all these courses that Alessandro spoke about, there are so many electives that you can choose from. So in Bocconi itself, how did you get an exposure, an experience about some particular industry? Did you do some case study or met people from different backgrounds and including marketing within that system? So did you have any experience or any story that you can tell us?
So I would say networking did not come easy to me since I was an introvert, and the school made very sure that I developed into someone who networks and becomes somebody who is corporate ready. So from day one, I remember us being empowered to take on leadership positions may it be small clubs, may it be small initiatives. I think the school never stopped us from doing anything that we really wanted to do. So I would say the only part where I was really proud of was I launched 5 initiatives in the college. So starting from Toastmasters, so which is a public speaking club, which exists even today, and I'm very happy to see them grow. Then I started 180 degrees consulting. So that was also with the collaboration with Milan 180 degrees. So that was also really good. And then we serve nonprofits and we have collaborative projects. So that improves the consulting experience. And then, of course, I try to reach out via LinkedIn to multiple people because that was a part of my role, right? I was a chief liaison coordinator. It was my duty to ensure that everybody is placed. So that way, I used to do things for others, but later it worked out for me. So I think being selfless really helped for me. And the last but not the least, I could also organize HULT Prize, which is a social impact accelerator program for Bocconi. So that was a really nice thing because I was the regional director for it, and then we launched it at Mumbai level. So that got a lot of visibility for Bocconi from a optics perspective. So why I'm trying to say all of these experiences is that networking is important, but you don't need to force yourself into networking. You do things that you're passionate about, and the network directly happens. So that's about it.
Got it. So the last question from my side to Shruti is, in your personal opinion, do you think students should opt for international MBA? So if you had to sell international MBA, I'm just saying that it is the good thing to do. So how will you tell through your experiences? Okay.
Yes. So that's a very valid question. I hope you can hear me. Yes. So that's a very valid question. And if I have to sell international MBA through my experience, I would say that it not only makes you a well-rounded professional, but it also expands your view of thinking. So it makes you more dynamic, it makes you more collaborative. You understand the different cultures. What happens in an Indian mindset is it's not bad, but you are boxed for in fact any country. You're boxed in that country's culture, and you actually do not know what the other person thinks. But an international MBA gives you that empathy, gives you
Okay, Shruti, I'm not able to understand your words at all. So can you just text me? Maybe I can recite whatever you're trying to say. Till that time, I can say what I understood from this conversation, and I really enjoyed some of the bits. For example, for me, as Alessandro said, it is all about maybe ROI. Is she saying? Um,
And what is that thing?
Shruti, I'm not able to hear you properly. So, Shruti, can you just text me maybe your answers, some
To ensure
different parts?
that
Okay.
keeps on
Okay. Yeah. So I think Shruti will be back maybe, or maybe if she writes to me, whatever she wants to say, I'll recite and tell you. Guys, for the timing, whoever is watching this, I just want to say, yeah, so as ROI, whatever Alessandro said, or with Shruti text.
That's why I would
Right. So yeah, it's if within scholarship we can actually cover this whole MBA of 2 years in India with 20 lakhs of expense. And Alessandro, you also said that the average salary that people get is from 30 to 75. Is that right?
Okay, first of all, there are different scholarships and tuition waivers.
Yes,
So that's what Shruti got. But we have tuition waivers that range from 0, 30, 50, and 80% also of the fees. And then we also have scholarships, which are lump sum of 2 lakhs. One is women in leadership, which is the one that Shruti had got. But there is one which is based on grades, and another one based on arts and sports. In terms of package, we are at an average of 13.74 with a median of 12.74 and a maximum of 36.
Got it. That is a great, I think that's a great opportunity. And with the exposure that we can get through this sounds very good. So with Shruti's answer, I'll just wait for it for a while. For the time being, let's just take up some question and answers or questions asked by our audience itself. So, so I think Alessandro, maybe you can answer most of them because Shruti has some issues with connection.
Sure.
I'll just ask the first question. So, Suhas is asking, does SDA Asia Bocconi offer 1-year executive MBA program?
We do, but it's a different target. It's a different audience. An executive for us is over the weekends. So for working professionals and for 5+ years of work experience, we have an average of 16 years of work experience in our executive MBA.
Got it. And now we have one more question regarding work experience. So Sujit is asking, is there a work experience required or internship experience also works?
It's not required. So we do have some, like in the IIMs, with some 35% of freshers. And then we have an average work experience of 1.6 years. So the range is between 0 and 5 years maximum. And so for us, they are same candidates. Okay, we know that the ones with work experience will perform worse in the test, but better in the interview. So in the end, it's the same. And normally this question is followed by the question, what about placements? Is exactly the same. There's like 10% of the companies that ask students with experience. There are 10% of the companies that want only students that are freshers. And the rest is all the same, with maybe some of the companies will give higher salaries to students that have some relevant experience. So experience or not, it doesn't really make a difference.
Got it. So as per your opinion, do you think one should get experience and get into this college, or without experience or being a fresher is better?
That is really a difficult question to give like that. It depends student to student. So it depends what you want to do. It depends if you have clear in your mind what you want to do. I can tell you in India, what happens is that most of the people, so we have some 30% engineers, and most of them, they want to shift. Okay, so it's good that they do it when they want to shift. We have some 50% of the batch, when they join, they don't know what they want to do. So doing an MBA gives you a good perspective of the different kind of jobs. I can tell you also that 80%, we ask everybody what they want to do at the beginning of the course, and we ask the same question after 1 year. 80% of the people have changed their mind. So I would say that in all these cases in India, there is this kind of situation. So it's good to do it straight away. For sure, many of the engineers, normally they get a good job. And it's only after 2 years that they realize that for managerial positions, they do need some management studies, and they come back. So what is better? I don't know. It really depends on the student, the clarity and the preference.
Got it. So we have one student asking, I have pursued bachelor's degree in arts and no work experience. So just asking from a perspective of doing an MBA from abroad, maybe your Bocconi Center abroad or in India. So are there any differences in eligibility criteria? Is there an experience required if you do it from abroad, whereas compared to that in Bocconi Asia Center?
Well, abroad is slightly different, the structure of the postgraduate studies. So, our program, while in India, is called an MBA, and it's just like the IIMs, it's called an MBA. An MBA abroad would be 5+ years of work experience.
Okay.
And technically, ours is master, a specialized master of first level, which is some way between a Master of Science and an MBA in terms of level of the curriculum. Because the Master of Science in Europe normally is done by freshers. So it's a 3 years undergrad or 4 plus the 2 years of master without experience. Ours is a program, since we have 60% of the class with some experience, but not the 5 years of the MBA, sits in between. So it's a master, a specialized master, a master with people that have some experience. So somehow higher than a Master of Science in Europe.
Got it. So the last question, I think the last question from them is, as you said, there are 200 companies coming for placements. So can you just name some well-known companies maybe that people might know who come for placements?
The 200 companies are in Milan. Okay.
Milan. Okay.
Yeah. In India, there Shruti, though she's not updated, I don't know if she's updated, but can help me on the number of companies. I'm not so prepared. I don't know. Shruti, do you know how many companies are now coming on campus?
In Milan, is it?
No. Here in Mumbai.
In Mumbai, I think it's, I'm not super updated, but the last update that I took, it was about somewhere 40 to 50.
Okay. And so any well-known names that people might recognize?
AB and Bev, H&M, Ferrero, Vodafone. Yeah, these are the well-known names. And of course, there's also Nomura.
Nomura for investment banking, consulting. We have EY, PwC, Deloitte, EY, Universal Consulting, a lot. Then we have Kellogg's, we have Unilever, HUL, we have L'Oreal, we have it's grown a little bit after Shruti has left, and I think that the number of 40 I would bring it to 150. I think now overall the companies that come on campus, because we have 260. So maybe between 120, around 120, 150 companies for 270 jobs.
Got it. So on that note, I think I'll end this webinar since we know how many placement opportunities, what are the fee structures, scholarship opportunities, and many more things that you can get an exposure, cultural difference, diversity, networking ideas, different electives that you can choose from. I'm not selling anything. I'm just saying that I like these points during this webinar and this conversation. So it is really interesting. And I think we should dig deeper into what this is about. So on that note, I'm going to end this webinar. Thank you so much for joining, Alessandro. Thank you for joining from your hush-push life, and you're sitting in a car for so long. So thank you for that. And thanks, Shruti. Your network was also very bad, but you still joined us and stayed till the end. So thank you so much, guys, for joining.
Thank you, Sunandini, and thank you, Shruti. I know how busy you are these days. And thank you for joining today and for joining the big alumni meeting we had in Bangalore on Sunday.
Thanks, Alessandro. Always pleasure to be a part.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.